I will not introduce each and every of you because I believe that already people are familiar with the faces and with the names. And that's why I encourage you to ask questions, because that's why we're here. That's why we're sitting here. That's why our speakers are here for you. So just use the opportunity, because I don't know if there is going to be any opportunity maybe earlier than in 1 year. So do it now. For the start of the panel, I'm here for more soft questions, okay? Sorry for that. I'm not the technical lady. You may have noticed. Maybe let's get back to the COVID times. What was the biggest challenge in your work during COVID? Can you name something that was really like, oh my God, how do I gonna do this? How do I gonna work with my team, or something around that? Any one of you who would like to answer?
Go for it. Well, in our company, maybe the opening is slightly different because we are already got used to work in online world even since 2007, so there's not a problem. In consultancy, for us, we started at the moment, like week before Corona started, we signed up contract with the client. And for us, it was like a full pipeline for all consultants for the next year without any problem. And then that contract has been canceled. So we had 1 week, like what we are going to do, and that gave us like a huge energy. I'm looking at one guy from my team, and that was, for me, it was like absolutely fabulous, that energy. Like suddenly there was a movement, something has happened and we need to do something. So it was finally, for me, it was creativity back. And what happened somehow, week after that, the contract has been renewed. And those guys are sitting here, so thank you very much. And for us, it was like 2 years working in Corona and helping clients online. That was crazy stuff, like planning, having 3 computers turn it on, channels on WhatsApp, 160 people somewhere. That was quite hard. Plus, maybe internally, thanks to one of our colleagues, Matej, he brought to us something which was the first time it was like, oh my gosh, no, like dinner every week. Come on, like breakfast at 8 on Monday, come on. And I would say that we do not have dinners anymore, but breakfasts are still there, even maybe sometimes there are only 2 of us, 3 of us. But that's something that I think that changed the culture, so that there was necessity to have a guy who is going to get us to speak. And that's what I'm thankful, that all those people participated in the spare time and tried to be a part of that. But I'm not sure if somebody else has such a other experience. So that's for me.
Well, of course, there are good and bad things around that, and maybe that resulted from that. Maybe someone else from the group here want to add to the topic of COVID times?
I'll speak very briefly. The thing that mattered to me was, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, was people had the opportunity to step back and reevaluate what's most important. And a lot of people said, well, being with my family is more important. Protecting my loved ones and protecting my community is more important. And we saw that most people had that reaction to COVID. And I hope that this recognition of more important values will continue.
We've got already some questions on Slido, so let's start with a Slido. A few years ago, we didn't hear about product owner. Everything was waterfall. How did you come to the idea to study or to be in such a role? I just leave it like volunteering. So, thank you, Peter.
maybe I will start with this one because I'm not a typical product owner. If you would point on someone here, I will be probably the last person. But since I was from the very beginning of Agile initiatives at our bank, quite in the front seat, and I liked it. So nobody calls me even now as the product owner, but myself personally, I consider myself for let's say 10% of my capacity being the product owner. And when I recognized what's inside all of this, I created my own product, and basically I translated that what I do is the product. So basically the most common product is the architecture of the bank, and there are some sub-products. For example, this debt governance is one of my sub-products. So I consider it as a product. So when we are working in our team, we are creating we have some strategy what to do. We have some features, some stories, and we are improving this governance as a product.
And I wouldn't comment. I wouldn't say that the role wasn't here before, because if you studied somehow how good products appear, there was always something like product management in the IT field as well. So that was something that attracted me. Let me say, like 20 years ago, but still I'm 26. So and I also started as a developer. And when I was developing, there was always somebody from the other side that didn't understand what we were talking about. So I was the one who explained like what it means and translated the IT stuff to the business stuff and business stuff for the IT guys. And it happened to me that I became that role because probably I have the right skills and talents and so on. So it somehow happened to me.
And actually there was this role, but with a different name, still with a different name today. Most of you might heard about project manager. And if you think about project manager, it's very similar. If you think about it, very similar to product ownership. Because basically project manager is the guy that is actually talking with the business, making sure that the business requirements come into the team, making sure that it's after the schedule and so on. Of course, there is some pairing with the Scrum Master nowadays, but it's not that different in reality. And there is one common mistake from my point of view, does not mean that it's right, that a lot of companies use Scrum Master and adapt Scrum Master from old project managers, but I truly believe that the role is much more closer project manager to go to product owner than Scrum Master, but the role was there. Project manager was already a very similar role to product owner.
I totally disagree. I'm sorry to totally disagree. Awesome. That is, for me, it's the biggest pain is when a product owner, product manager treat product like a project. So project is something which in beginning and an end. Project manager, they're responsible for delivering in time and in resources and in quality. Product owner, however, they're responsible for the outcome, whether the product is worth using, whether the product is successful in the market. That's not the responsibility of the project manager. The problem is, however, that nowadays a lot of project manager, without get properly mentored and taught and teached and coached, stumble into a product role within an organization which is still the same with different namings. That drives a product manager into the project, still behaving like a project manager.
So we do agree, because I have exactly the same opinion. I think you just did not see my presentation in the beginning.
That's why we have the panel discussion, so to clear things up,
but
okay?
just to finish, I truly agree with you that the role is different, but at the beginning, he was the one doing most of the product owner, because if you know, 20 years ago, there was not so much a definition of product.
That's true.
right? Yeah. So I'm not saying it's the same. I'm 100% with you, 200% with you. That's actually how I start the first slide. So on time, on budget, quality is not enough. That's the responsibility of a project manager. Product manager needs much more. But what I mean is the closest one. So long time ago. Today is a completely different role, but it was an evolving one. But I think we truly understand or agree with each other.
I still slightly disagree because it was more done, the product work was more done on the business side than on the delivery side, because what you said was really the thing, like on time, on budget, and I didn't care about the value as a product manager. So this should be emphasized. But on the principle level, of course, we understand each other.
Okay, I think that we can continue in this talk off the stage.
Maybe one thing to add from my side, if possible. Maybe the last words regarding this question from my side. I think that is somehow the conception of having product owner is, like, honestly, I don't like it. Because if you have the opportunity to work in great team, that ownership is, you see that in every person which is in the team. Like, suddenly it's something build up commonly. I'm not saying that there is no somebody who is saying go to the left, go to the right, etc. But the word product owner, to me it sounds like very strong. It's owner. Like, hey, I would like to have a team and build up things together. That's the reason. And if you have that opportunity, enjoy it because it's rare.
So maybe you can also answer the second question. If you had to, how would you argue against the existence of product owner role in your organization?
So like Dusan said, if the organization is actually ready for real product teams, right? Not delivery teams, not feature teams, really ready for product ownership, product management, then super cool. You need really good product people in the beginning. But if you don't have those product people, you don't have anyone who actually can drive this topic to excellence, then I would highly advise not to start with this role, right? Product management, it's really good product manager, even external, should be someone who has experience in building great products. And if it's not that case, start with project management.
Maybe if I add to that, we have some clients where really like introducing the role of product owner is like, okay, another type of role, and these responsibilities are already there. So why to introduce special product owner role into that? So sometimes it really doesn't make a sense if that ability is already there. So in that case, I will be very, very careful.
May I? Yep. I'm going to go back to the question. If you had to argue against the existence of a product owner role in your organization. So to me, the differentiator is, do you know the answer already? Have you already built this thing 100 times and you know exactly what to do? Well, you don't need a product owner. You need a project manager. You're going to be waterfall, implementing the solution we already have all the answers for. You only need a product owner when you don't know the answers. The product owner should be perhaps a better name, product advisor or product experimenter, product hypothesizer. The person who actually says, well, what if we address this problem that we haven't addressed before? That would be where you need a product owner. If you already know all the problems, you already know all the solutions, don't need a product owner.
Staying in the topic of roles, what about having Scrum Master with product owner in one person? Is it possible? And if not, try to find solution. It's like, try to find it, please, right?
So this is what happens in 90% of organizations that say that, oh, we're going to be agile now. And we've got a Scrum Master who's also a product owner, but last week he was a project manager. Well, yeah, probably not going to work because it's different concepts, different responsibilities, different mindset. You know, the Scrum Master is about organization and processes. Product owner should be about what experiments are we going to try, and how will we know if we failed or succeeded, right? So it's a very different mindset. And I would also say that please stop putting IT people into the product owner role. You know who the best product owners are? Moms with more than 2 kids who studied psychology or sociology or education. Not yet another know-it-all with a computer science degree.
Coming back to online meetings and online calls, how to engage participants on online calls to discuss topics. How to overcome the barrier of online meetings when only one person can talk at the time.
I have the only thing to add here, and that's elaboration on what Jarek said, that I can start from myself. So if I show the culture, how it should look like, and leading by example, then it might work. That's one thing that came to my mind.
Many similar situations happen, of course. The first thing is, why should I engage participants? Why? Why should I feel responsible for that? Yeah, it's worthless for them. Okay, thank you very much. Just close the call. That's it. The same, like, ask this question in a different way. How to engage your children in an online call? Try to think about that. I'm not saying that your colleagues are your children, but it's like getting you back to more this personal relationship. Like, yeah, one of our clients, for example, we didn't see their faces for whole Corona time. And as we were at the last meeting of our contract, like, okay, thank you very much, goodbye. Suddenly one lady, okay, I'm going to turn on the camera because this is a very unique moment. Oh, thank you very much. You look absolutely differently. And we had the chance to meet in person like 1 month ago. And I didn't realize that she is the one, like, I never saw you like just once on webcam. No, why do you need to engage people? Why? Come on, it's democratic.
Incorporation, which should be first? Appointing product owners based on skills and then define products, or define products first and then appoint POs?
Definitely opposite in my opinion, because every product requires different abilities and different skills. So you are not going to probably decide like what will be your company doing based on people which you have in your company and their skills. If yes, then probably you're building something else, not a company. it's like a camp for people. Yeah. So in my opinion, it should be driven by the product, what the product requires to be built up, and that's it.
Could I follow up? So Dusan, what you're saying is you have a pretty good idea of the product, and then you find a person with experience within that product area and make them your product owner? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, first I'm looking if I have those abilities in my company. If I don't have them, I'm thinking, okay, should we gain that maybe by the training or importing or something like that? If that's not possible, I need to accelerate the knowledge much faster. Yeah, I'm going to hire a guy for that. Yeah.
I think the product person should be able to come up with the ideas within the realm of his responsibility. I mean, when he works for a company, let's say telecom, and he knows exactly what services and products telecom provides, then it should be in his responsibility as well to define the next innovate, next product features, next product maybe, right? I mean, that's a little bit chicken and egg situation, I guess. A lot of startups, they start with a product idea and then they start to build it from the scratch, and then at some point they're like, okay, I cannot do everything, I need a product person, right?
You remind me of one story here from Košice where there were 4 guys building new product in their spare time, And suddenly company here in Košice, they realize, oh, we have absolutely new product. So they build up a team around those guys, but they already had the ability to build that product. Yeah?
Exactly. But usually in corporate enterprises, the best thing is if you have good product people, they come up with new product ideas and innovations, right?
Do you think, is it possible to have a product team for really complex products like, for example, a spaceship?
Yeah, there are already, right? I mean,
yeah, I suppose.
the product is not just an IT product. Like I said, product is everything. And they built in, I don't know where, I think it's Germany, but I'm not sure. They fighter plane, I don't know what it's called, for war. They build it in Scrum, iteratively. So probably not the same way software gets built in Scrum, but Sennheiser, for instance, they only build in Scrum.
Yeah, of course, like Elon Musk is capable to build up engines for spaceship. Yeah, that's very well known about him. But I don't see that it works alone.
But are there, like, I work for a manufacturer company. They're building lightning solutions. They have tons of product manager for lightning solutions. They need product manager who engineers lamps, right?
Since you brought up the Elon Musk example and spaceships, let's remind everybody that I wouldn't call SpaceX a particularly agile organization because it's still very hierarchical. And who was the idiot who said, no, don't invest on improving the launch pad and providing a way for that exhaust to be channeled? No, it'll save us money and we don't want to waste any time. Yeah, good old Elon. Same like, mentioned earlier today that, Google builds good products. No, they don't. They haven't built a good product in 20 years. They buy products. Yeah. Same thing with Elon. He hasn't innovated a damn thing. He's bought companies and then claimed the credit for it. So be careful about the hype, about the visionaries, and, I led this on because of my product vision. Steve Jobs was a con man. Steve Wozniak is my hero, the guy who actually built this stuff.
This is an interesting question, how to deal with a customer who is constantly changing his or her mind. So it is difficult to gather the requirements and decide on what to build next.
I would like to elaborate on that, change the dynamic between your business side, because your business side is not your customer. So the problem we have with product building, especially in enterprise context, is that the business side is profit center. And the IT side is cost center. So what the business side does is they behave like they're other customers and they place requirements to the IT side. What you lose, the real customer side and view, and the market side and view. If you only interact with each other inside the company. So if I may, I understand that because the customer outside on the market or the users, they don't change constantly their minds, and they won't change the requirements because they do not place any requirements. You have to gather requirements out of their behavior and their problem. They need to get it solved.
If I continue on this one, there is the point, or I can ask you a few questions, how tightly is involved the customer in the discussions, the observations, as you mentioned, whether the discovery happens here, how you discuss with the customer, how the success look like, because the jobs you try to fulfill or propose a solution to, so these jobs are quite stable, and you said they are here quite long time. Usually it's here like for tens of years, even, for decades. So this is, there are the root causes behind that question, what you said, Eugene, and also there are the things like what's the way of working, how the client is involved, what you do with them, and how you uncover and validate the needs behind. So that's typical, the root cause.
Yeah, I would like to chip in, if I may. So ideally, you are not gathering requirements from your customer. You should figure out their problem and then leave them to deal with it and come back with some solution afterwards. And the problem of the customer shouldn't be, be changing so often. So if you focus on the problem they're experiencing and not the requirements, then you are on a good path.
You guys remember in the morning, so when I gave this example of what we did in the previous work, remember that the customers, the stakeholders were always giving us features to implement and requirements to implement, but then you remember that we changed the approach by asking them what's the business problem that they want to solve, right? So we start to ask them, give us OKRs, give us objectives, strategic objectives that you want us to solve. We, on the product side, we know how to implement that, so just give us the business problem that you want to solve. And that's a good way, so you can gather your customer, start to do a workshop based, and ask them what are the business objectives, problems that you want to solve, and then you take the ownership, and then you develop those features into your product, and push them back, just ask them the business problems that they want to get solved.
I will challenge this question, like many words here. The first thing, why that negative energy in that deal with customer? Okay, like there is a customer who wants to pay you and you are going to deal with him. Like, come on, what's wrong? Another one, who is constantly changing her mind. Like, all the day you heard about validation, minimum viable products, ideas, hypotheses. So even you would like to change your ideas. And now you are telling your customers, please don't change your ideas. It's like something wrong because you as a customer, your ideas are changing, not maybe because you want, but mostly because you are influenced by your customers or somebody else, and you are forced to change your ideas. So why I have to deal with the customer who is changing the mind? Yeah, of course, it's natural. Even you are changing your mind. So just accept that, okay? Grow up. And now, sorry, once again, like difficult to gather requirements. Maybe you don't need to gather requirements. Maybe you can find out those requirements. Maybe you can help them to find out, as it was mentioned, their pains, not requirements. And another one, decides on what to build next. Maybe you can be a partner, and we had the talk, small talk, like, come on, you might be a partner and not just somebody who is a vendor who needs to fulfill wishes of your customer. No, sorry, one of the first lessons for me in consultancy in the United States was, come on, I'm not going to tell you as an agile coach what you are supposed to do. You should tell me what I am supposed to do. The same goes with the product ownership. So I see many things to think about in this question.
I'll be brief because they've already answered this. If your customer is not changing their mind, it's because you've got a waterfall project. Yeah?
And even worse.
Yeah. So I would say that the customer changing their mind is actually a healthy sign that they're involved and actually considering things. But the problem probably is also that you're presenting solutions instead of really understanding the problems. Because the problem, they're not going to change their mind about the problem. They'll keep on changing their minds about your proposed solution. So stop focusing on the build and the requirements, focus on what's the real problem, and then you can present them different alternatives to answering that problem, different solutions, and they'll like one of them.
Everybody is looking for peaceful, like calm way of working, etc. Cemeteries are full of such people, you know.
Okay, let's continue with the next one, and I'm going one by one because of the likes over there. COVID showed us that almost everything can be done from home. What is missing in your remote teams? It is worth to ask people to come back.
May I quickly react to the first part, because I don't think so. I don't think that great products can be done from home, because innovation will not appear by sitting by the computer and be really far away from the people. I think innovation are rooted in the interactions with the people, and I mean the real life interactions. I'm not saying the remote work can or have its place in the product teams. It can have, but definitely when you can have a great product team and when you can come up with a great idea, you need to go to the customer, you need to talk to them, you need to share with the people, you need to have a great, crazy discussions. As Dusan said, it's never like a nice Sunday dinner with the family, or actually with the family, it's not always tidy and, you know, silent. It's always like screaming kids and so on. So it's like this, and it has to be like this, because we are humans. We are not a robots. AI is not going to replace us, you know. So the point here is it's in the interaction, not replace. Yeah, it's helping us and so on, but not replace, because it's the value is rooted in interactions. That's the point I wanted to emphasize. So that's my comment to it.
Do you have the experience maybe that you need to like ask people to come back? Aren't they coming back by themselves because they just want to?
No, we have, I don't know how it is here in Slovakia, but in Germany, it's kind of still, the offices are empty. They don't come, and well, it depends on the situation. Virtual teams, right? If you tell them back in times we flew together to one spot. Nowadays, you see, it's not necessary, you can save money. So it depends on the company, but I agree with you. I like to meet people and have the interaction. But there are a lot of people who actually, they're great virtually, so I cannot tell whether this is the only way or the right way. I would never say that. But for me, personally, yes, I need the interaction.
If I can throw a turd into the punch bowl again, the real reason that people want folks back in the office is financial. There's a huge amount of sunk cost into office buildings, which a lot of banks and equity firms have invested in. And if they recognize the reality that there's not the demand that there once was, it means they have to lower the valuations on those office buildings, which means it will change their interest rates and their expected returns, which could trigger another financial collapse. So the real reason that a lot of executives, old Chauncey, our friend Chauncey, wants you to come back to the office is because they're worried about the overall macroeconomic situation when it turns out all those office buildings that have been created at great expense over the last couple of decades aren't needed anymore. But there's a lot of money renting on that, and if they rent it out at realistic rates, it's better to keep it empty. And I think that the COVID situation of proving that a lot of collaboration can be done online is going to have this ongoing effect of causing, like CBRE, biggest owner of office buildings in the world, they're in bad financial shape. Watch out.
What do you consider to be the biggest challenge for a product owner?
Chauncey.
Sorry?
Chauncey.
Yeah, Chauncey is
Chauncey is the biggest risk because this would mean Chauncey needs to let go of his power of decision making, right? And the other risk is still that we need more experienced and great product people, and not only theoretical product owners who went to one certification and now are the best practice product owners. So yeah, Chauncey need to invest also in good product people, right? They're expensive, they're rare, right? So all in all, Chauncey, I would say.
I think that for me, what I see, it's a fear of failure.
But isn't it a cultural environment thing? I mean, if you have the environment and the platform, you are allowed to fail. Are you afraid then? What comes first?
I'm not sure. I've worked in environments, not as a consultant, but as an employee, where that was not a culture. And change happened because there is somebody who has the courage to try that. And of course, then the culture has been impacted, and over years, it changes slowly. But if there is not such an initiator who is going to ignite that, if everybody just follows, you don't have product owner.
Just to support Heijin's comment, I think this can be changed by the environment very quickly, because in Česka, when we started to somehow more focus on the visualization of the value and start to do discovery, you really quickly get rid of that fear, because you see, hey, many of my ideas will be stopped easily and nobody will be screaming at me. So I think really like in half a year you could see the change here.
Okay, I'm not going to challenge you, just to add to that. And for me, there was somebody who was not afraid to show transparently what is happening. So for me, is that about that fear? Yeah.
And I would add one more to this one. This is this budgeting process that we discussed already. So decision making, what was said, and the second thing, the budgeting process. Because if you need to ask for the budget for some stupid thing, like for instance, one great person you would like to get to your team that's experienced, great guru, like designer, for instance, and you want to have that person on the team, but you don't have the budget you can decide on, that's really a big problem. Or you would like to invest on some idea because discovery has proven this would be really something, and you need to ask for the budget and wait half a year to get that budget. This is a really stupid thing. So the budget thing as well.
You guys really got me serious with asking questions, but time's up, so let's make one more. How do you guys cope with the harsh reality of practicing Agile versus the ideal theory, mostly not having enough leverage to fix things, process, or mindset?
I don't want to answer that. I'm a product.
I'll give a very short answer. There are things within our control. There are things outside of our control. And being an Agile consultant or a transformation coach and all these different things, you find out very quickly that most of it is outside of your control. You do the best you can and recognize that probably 80% of the time you're going to fail.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe I would add what Fred said, because like forget about the word agile, forget about the reality, about theory. Think about the outcome, think about the people. Are people having better life? Do you deliver the better results? And don't care what the tool was. Totally forget about the tools. This is why I have used, I think, agile just in the name only of my presentation. I think I haven't said agile through the way. So forget about the tools, about the journey, the outcome, the impact is important. And if you help them with the waterfall, great job.
All right, and why call it harsh reality? I mean, or is there actually ideal? It's agile, so it's meant to adapt to a bit of your ways or the company, or really fit you. So, yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's so harsh, or what is so ideal in our lives. So, who is driving ideal car? And my harsh reality is I drive only BMW. Yes, so hard. So. Yeah, we are practicing Agile, and that means that we are adapting to situations, to the team we are working with, to the company reality we are at, or maybe our customer base, and so on. So, yeah, seems pretty ideal to me.
So not trying to run away from the question, but I think that we really should start to changing the narrative. So for almost 20 years, we have been talking about agile. And I think we forgot, thank God, now we are talking more about product, but the Agile is the tool, right? And there is one friend of mine that he has a joke, but you can be very, very, very agile and go bankrupt very, very fast because you can be very good at putting crap into the market. So the Agile, it's time for us to really start thinking. It's not about agility. It's about solving customer problems that actually give us money, right? Agile is just a tool. So I was having a conversation with him 10 minutes ago. I think we all, in this stage, you have this responsibility to really start changing the narrative. Agile, it's not the important part. Agile is a tactic thing. We really need to start thinking strategical way. Okay, so stop putting effort on this agility, Scrum, Kanban. This is just to solve normal daily problems. We really need to start thinking in a much higher level and solving problems to our customers.
And if you are thinking about that, why you have so many problems with introduction of Agile, etc. In reality, probably your company has similar problems in any other change. So it's about change management. And that's something what is really missing somehow in the middle management and senior management. This is real change management, and those companies which are somehow successful, not just with Agile, but with that product thinking, product way, they knew how to introduce changes. So change management.
I think that's a nice finish and wrap up of the panel discussion. Thank you very much. Big applause to all of our speakers and participants of the panel discussion. And let me take a chance also to thank to our partners, because without them we wouldn't make it happen today. So thank you goes to the general partner Deutsche Telekom IT Solutions Slovakia, gold partner Slovak Telecom, Siemens Healthineers, S10, Jim Beam, A4, Prelika, Panaxeo, also Eventech partner Touch IT, Košice IT Valley, Žilinská univerzita, and Technická univerzita in Košice. One big applause and very much thank you for today. And before my final words, I would like to hand over the word to Dusan, maybe to sum up.
Thank you. I was not able to open this conference because I stuck in traffic here and due to accident. But anyway, I would like to thank you, everybody here, for your 8 hours of your life, and to my team for many weeks of their life. And I would like to wish you maybe really have a strength for those things which you are doing in your work, be successful. So guys, just keep running. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dusan.
Wait, one more thing. You know, I've run conferences and I've hosted conferences and moderated conferences, and it's tough. It's really difficult getting everything on time and keeping it moving and getting the questions answered without bogging down. Let's give a hand to our host and moderator. Good job. Really good job.
Thank you very much. It was really my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to meet you all. And just maybe one more comment from my side. If we haven't answered your questions, I think that these guys will be happy to get in touch with you. You've got their LinkedIn profiles on the website. So just go there, just connect with them and text them. And I believe that they will be happy to answer, to discuss whatever your needs, business needs are regarding your work and Agile and Scrum and everything around this topic. And for the finals, I would like to thank all of you again. So organizers, speakers, sponsors, of course, and you, the participants and the camera guys that did a great job. One more thing, I would like to ask you to help us improving for the next year. Within your email, you're gonna get a very nice form that you're gonna fill in, like I think in just a few minutes of your time, so we can make these events even better for the next year. And I hope that we're gonna see and hear each other at least in 1 year, if not sooner. Thank you very much and have a nice rest of the day.